Hello, everyone. Welcome to Study Bud, your companion to success in your academic journey. Today, we have something really exciting lined up. I'm super excited because we have the amazing teacher Doha with us today. We're going to ask her questions specific to her experience learning English, being trained at the CRMEF to be a teacher of English, and most important of all, her experience sitting for the written and oral entrance exams. But before starting, I would like to thank teacher Doha for accepting my invitation.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm delighted to be here today for this interview. I'm excited to share my experience, hoping it can provide valuable guidance and support to future teachers. I'll do my best to answer the questions and offer helpful and practical advice.
Well, we know that to each of us their own unique story learning English. I'm sure you got an incredible one as well. So tell us, how did it start and since when did you feel it in you? That desire to become a teacher of English.
My story with the English language began when I was a kid. My sister and I would watch a lot of English language movies, and after we finished the film, we would imitate a few words and numbers in the language. Eventually, we would start having complete conversations in English. And there were a lot of things that inspired me to learn the language more, such as the praise I got from my friends, family, and teachers, all of which made me feel good about myself and encouraged me to work harder at learning the language. In addition to the external factors, I was driven to learn English by an internal factor that came from my general love of the language. Although there are many beautiful languages in the world, I still think that English is my favorite, after Arabic language, of course. I've always wanted a job involving English, but teaching English was never in my plans. I never thought of it. But after receiving my bachelor degree, my father and I started looking online for jobs. To my joy, the School of ENS in my neighborhood opened an English major department for the first time, and I was thrilled to start studying there, and that's when my dream of becoming an English teacher began.
Whoa, it's like you were meant to do this job. Everything just seems to have led you here. Alright, now let's put people with minimal knowledge about this profession in a picture. So, to be a teacher of English in Morocco, what are the requirements?
To be an English teacher in Morocco requires a combination of educational qualifications and other specific criteria. For example, a bachelor degree with a good mark in the English school subject and a BA degree in English. Also, obtaining a diploma from the CRMEF, the Regional Center for Education and Training. To be aware of English and good at English, language proficiency, and also cultural sensitivity, to be aware of different cultures and not to say certain things that are allowed in some places and not allowed here. You just have to be aware of our culture and what are the things that you can say and the things that you cannot say.
Okay. So, after you got your BA in education, you applied for teaching in the public sector. But of course, before that, you sat for written and oral entrance exams to save your seat at the CRMEF. Now, for people who do not know what's CRMEF, it simply stands for Centre Régional des Métiers de l'Éducation et de la Formation. That's basically where teachers get trained for about 6 to 7 months before they start teaching. We want to know more about how you succeeded in these exams, teacher. So tell us, how did you prepare for the written entrance exam? Were there any particular resources or strategies you found especially helpful?
I began preparing for the written exam 2 months in advance, focusing primarily on grammar and writing lessons. For the first month, I dedicated my time to revising these areas. In the second month, I shifted my focus to the didactics of English, studies, methods, and approaches. When revising the methods and approaches, I focused on understanding them, as this made it easier to predict the principles of each method. Memorizing all the principles is challenging, but by grasping the goals and foundations of each method or approach, I could effectively predict their principles. I saved the educational sciences, علوم تربية, for last, as it requires a lot of memorization, which I felt was best done closer to the exam date. The module is very long and difficult to understand, so I focused on short summaries and videos to grasp as much as I could. I relied heavily on online resources. For grammar, for example, I simply searched grammar all lessons on Google, which led me to comprehensive websites. Similarly, for didactics, I found useful materials by searching all lessons of English didactics. And I found a lot of lessons, for example, methods, approaches, teacher's role, motivation, external motivation, internal, everything, teaching language components, everything. For educational sciences, I supplemented my learning with YouTube videos and summarized documents. This systematic approach allowed me to cover all the necessary topics effectively.
That's cool. Seems to me like you worked smart preparing for the written exam. How about the oral? How was your experience like during the oral exam, and how did you feel going into it, and how did it go overall? And can you describe the type of questions or scenarios you were asked during it?
My experience during the oral exam was a mix of intense preparation and nerve-wracking moments. To prepare, I made many lesson plans for lessons, for example, vocabulary, grammar, reading, listening, speaking, writing. However, due to time constraints, I focused on memorizing just one lesson plan. On the day of the exam, while traveling to the city where the exam was held, I kept revising that single lesson plan, feeling scared and panicking with all sorts of bad scenarios playing in my head. Upon arrival, I decided to trust Allah and kept saying prayers to calm myself. At the exam location, the CRMEF, I waited with other candidates until we were called for the first part of the exam. It is known as a Ra'is المهني. This exam is nothing scary. You don't need to be worried or anything because it is done to help you. The mark you will get on this Ra'is will be added to the mark of the oral exam. Therefore, this Ra'is is only there to enhance your mark, and that's it. This computer-based exam is all about situations. You won't get anything from theory. It's all situations, and there is no correct or wrong answer. You can write an answer, and another person would choose another answer, and both of them would be correct. Because this exam just trying to know your personality as a teacher, and that's it. It is based on situations, and you will rank the choices they will give you. 4 choices, you rank them based on your choice. Of course, there are some extreme choices that they give. For example, one extreme choice that most people wouldn't choose. That's what I think would be incorrect. Otherwise, you don't need to worry about anything. They're just trying to know you as a teacher, how you think, and that's it. They give you multiple situations. For example, you faced a problem with one of your students, or you faced a problem with the principal of the school. You didn't make a lesson plan and you had to teach the lesson tomorrow. What will you do? You would go and teach that lesson without a lesson plan. You would prepare the lesson plan all night. Just simple situations like this, just to know how you think and how you deal with situations. And like I said, there is no right or wrong answer. They're just trying to know how you think, and that's it. In this exam, they give you 1 hour. Most people finished before the end of the time, so nothing to be worried about, and nothing to prepare for this. Normal situations, practical situations that you will face as a teacher, and that's it. After that, I met the jury assigned to me for the oral exam. They asked me to pick a paper from a pile, and the lesson on that paper was the one I had to teach. To my luck, it was the very lesson I had been revising that morning. I had an hour in the library to prepare using the provided the textbook. So after I prepared my lesson plan, it was time for my teaching demonstration. I was extremely nervous and scared, but I kept praying. I entered, I greeted the jury, I showed my ID card, and began teaching the vocabulary lesson. Initially, I made some grammatical mistakes, but I soon overcame my fear. I pretended to joke with imaginary students and acted if it were a real classroom, building confidence as I went. I used the entire space of the classroom. I raised my voice appropriately and moved around the class, demonstrating my capability to manage a class. After the teaching, I had a 30-minute discussion with the jury. They asked me to explain everything I did during my lesson, including the stages of my lesson plan, presentation, practice, and production. They posed situational questions such as what I would do if students were not engaged with my lesson plan or how I would accommodate a student with a disability. I responded that I would adapt to the needs of my students as their learning is the priority, and I would provide additional support and time for students with disabilities. By the end of the interview, I felt a huge relief and the stress was gone. Despite some mistakes, I was confident that Allah would not let me down, and indeed, Alhamdulillah, He did not.
Great. Thank you for thoroughly walking us through your oral exam. I see that it was kind of demanding, but I'm sure that graduates like you, who are really prepared and ready, will not falter. So, another question in this regard: were there any specific challenges you faced during the oral exam, and how did you overcome them?
During the oral exam, I faced several challenges. The 1 hour preparation time for the lesson plan proved insufficient for memorizing, so I kept the lesson plan on my desk for reference. While teaching, I felt nervous because of the way the jury was watching me, which led me to worry about potential mistakes and how they perceived my anxiety. To overcome this, I focused on faking confidence in the beginning by maintaining eye contact, moving around the classroom, and showing enthusiasm with the imaginary students. And it did help me after that to actually feel confident. During the discussion, when confronted with difficult questions, I asked for further clarifications assertively. That's the point. I didn't show them that I didn't understand. Can you please clarify? Can you please explain some more assertively? Which allowed me extra time to formulate my responses, and it showed that I'm not nervous and I'm confident. I'm just asking for more information. These strategies helped me manage the challenges and perform effectively during the exam.
So, for all of you out there, Teacher Doha is advising you of being assertive when you ask for clarification and faking confidence until confidence becomes your reality. Now, going back to you, teacher, after you successfully passed your entrance exams, how would you describe your experience at the CRMEF? And what were the most positive and rewarding aspects about it? Most importantly, how well did the center prepare you for the job of being a teacher of the language?
My experience at the CNMF was incredibly positive. The professors treated us like family, providing support and guidance that made us feel like teachers rather than students, which significantly boosted our confidence as we embarked on our teaching journey. They supplied us with comprehensive resources, explained complex grammar rules, and offered practical advice teaching scenarios. The CNMF effectively balanced theory with practice, ensuring we were well prepared for the classroom. We received training on the content we would teach and participated in practicums where we applied our knowledge in real classrooms. Additionally, frequent teaching opportunities within CRMEF classes, coupled with valuable feedback from our professors further enhanced our teaching skills and confidence. Overall, the CRMEF filled any potential gaps in our training and thoroughly prepared us for our teaching careers.
That's quite promising. Now, our last question would be, given all the knowledge and experiences you accumulated throughout this journey, would you urge Moroccan students to opt for this field? And if so, what advice can you give them as well as people who are about to start their teaching training at the CRMEF?
Yes, I strongly encourage Moroccan students to pursue a career in teaching. Teaching is a profoundly rewarding profession that offers the chance to be a role model, imparting not just academic knowledge, but also important values and manners to students. This role allows teachers to influence their students' development and the growth beyond the classroom. For those starting their teacher training at the CRMEF, my advice is to make the most of every opportunity to practice teaching. Engage actively in both CRMEF classes and real high school classrooms. The more you practice, the better prepared you will be to manage a classroom independently and face the challenges of teaching with confidence. This hands-on experience is crucial in shaping our readiness for the profession.
Thank you, Teacher Doha, for your time and the valuable insights you shared with us today. It's been a truly enriching discussion. I enjoyed it very much, and I wish you all the success and fulfillment in your teaching career. And to you, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of this interview. We hope that it has given you some clarity and inspiration. Stay tuned because there is so much more to come. And if any of you would like to contribute, share ideas, or even be my next guest, drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more engaging content. And thank you for watching.